What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 84 of the Offshore Gamescast. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Lile.
And you may notice that Dave is not here.
Yeah, he's gone to the...
He's possessed. He's possessed.
Yes, exactly.
The internet demons got him. We saw some very messed up stuff and he's gone. So...
Maybe you can help us find him. If you see him on the street, please.
Yeah. Don't approach him. He might be dangerous.
But write us a mail.
Yeah, email us if you see him on the street. We can go get him. All right, we got a lot going on here. First off, Lyle is here. She's here permanently. Forever.
Yes. I will never leave again. I will sit here in this chair. I will never leave again. You will not get rid of me.
So, if you did not see on social media, we posted a little statement. I made it look like it was like we were delaying a video game, and I was very happy with that presentation.
That's actually true.
Yeah, as soon as I made it, I was like, this looks like I delayed a video game, and I like it. Lyle is officially joining us. We have some changes going on here. She is a third host of the Offshore Gamescast now.
Yes, Dylan and Dave were nice enough to invite me for forever.
The show will never end. Along with that,
1,000 episodes in, you'll get rid of me.
We have a new format going here. As you could probably tell by the title of this episode, it is called Hi-Fi Rush Review something or another. Here's the thing. As you know, we have always been about giving our opinions on newer games coming out, giving our thoughts, trying to help people navigate the millions of games that come out like every day now. And we ultimately decided that it's probably better to do that with one focused episode instead of, oh, here's my initial impressions on Hi-Fi Rush, and then the next week, here's what I'm thinking now, and then because then someone would have to listen across 3 episodes to get the full thought process. So
and now we dive in fully.
Yes, this is going to be a deep dive.
Yeah,
deep dive into Hi-Fi Rush today. We are going to be each bringing a game to the table every week. So what you can look forward to right now is today, Hi-Fi Rush. Next week, the 21st, will be Hogwarts Legacy, and the February 28th will be Blanc.
Woo woo!
That is, if you can't guess, Blanc is going to be Lyle's game, because go check out her YouTube channel. That is still happening. Lyle's Indie Corner. All the indie games.
Yes, all the indie games. A bit of a hiatus currently, but I'm planning on doing more.
There's plenty of content there for you to go watch still. Lots of good content. We have been doing video podcasts, but we will have some gameplay footage for most of the games from now on. So if you are watching on YouTube, you prefer video content, you can actually go see what the game looks like. All right.
Really neat. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Hi-Fi Rush. This kind of came out of nowhere. I guess
honestly, if you had not talked about it, I would have not known about the game.
It's a game made for me. So this got announced at that recent Xbox event. It's developed by Tango Gameworks, which this is a very different game for them. Published by Bethesda, came out January 25th on the Xbox Series X and S and PC. It is on Game Pass. Tango, who is known for The Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, came out with a very flashy rhythm action game.
I mean, exactly what I would have thought they would make next.
Oh yeah, this is what everyone was predicting for their next game. Nothing horror related at all. So, Lyle, I don't know if you played Metal Hellsinger.
No, I have not played Metal Hellsinger, but I have watched a bit of Metal Hellsinger.
Okay, so it's more in that realm of a rhythm game. It's where it's all about staying to the beat.
Very different music, I imagine.
Yes, very different music from Metal Hellsinger. We'll get to that, but a lot of licensed music from some pretty big artists.
Oh.
But it's not a rhythm game in the sense of Guitar Hero where notes are coming at you, you have to hit them to the beat, although it's more combat oriented, and you are not we'll get into it, but one thing I do like is very beginner friendly. You
Oh,
are
that's
not
good
like,
for me.
yes, it's you can get through the game probably just fine on an easier difficulty if you have no rhythm at all.
Then maybe I should try this because I'm very bad at rhythm games. So if this is
It's-
very forgiving, then
It is. So let's start with the story. You play as Chai, which all the characters' names seem to be food related in some sort. So
tasty.
you start as Chai. He's this dude that he basically his dreams to be a rock star, but one of his arms doesn't work, and he wants to play guitar. So he goes to Vandalay campus, which is Vandalay Industries is a very big tech company, to participate in Project Armstrong, which it yes.
Okay.
Yes, very
Yeah.
on the nose.
All right.
To get his arm replaced by a cybernetic one.
That's really cool. But
Yes.
also, how the hell does he know how to play guitar?
He
if
doesn't.
couldn't that- Okay.
That's why he's a wannabe rock star. He's
Ah.
aspiring to be one, but he can't do anything. So the way they do this at Vandalay is basically by putting you on a metal slab and a giant metal press comes down onto you, pulls away, and voila, you have a cybernetic arm. Now,
Okay, it's magic then.
yes, it's
Okay.
magic. Chai had a music player that was basically like it was like an iPod, and it
Old school.
managed to accidentally fall. It got like thrown away, and it fell through a bunch of things and landed right on his chest right before the thing pressed into him. So not only does he have a cybernetic arm, he has an iPod, not an actual iPod, but it's a music player, infused in the middle of his body.
An arc reactor music player,
Yes.
cybernetic arm, Iron Man.
Basically, it is like
Right.
that, but an iPod.
I mean, so he's fueled by the music, is what you're saying.
Yes, so because of this, now in his head, everything around him, there's music coming from the music player. Everything in his world is now going to the beat of this song.
That's very cool and terrifying.
Yes. He loves it, though. The biggest issue is that he is now considered a defect. This is not the way it was supposed to go for him in Project Armstrong. So he now needs to be taken care of, basically disposed of.
Oh no!
Yeah, Vandalay Industries seems to not be what they seem to be, essentially. So all these robots, the whole security system, we're basically fighting robots the whole game. You have this metallic arm, it's basically just like a pole, but it's magnetic and calls in a bunch of metal from around him and makes a guitar arm that he uses to now attack with.
So he doesn't play the guitar, he just uses it to whack people.
Yes.
Nice.
There's no strings or anything. He just, with a guitar arm.
I like where this is going.
Yes.
Amazing.
So he's realizing, oh, I need to get the hell out of here.
Fair.
And as he's trying to just get out of the area, he comes across a robotic cat named 808 that can talk.
Yes. I mean, if it's robotic, then it should talk.
So it doesn't actually talk. There was someone on the other side named Peppermint, going with the whole food thing, speaking through 808, because it's her robotic cat, I guess. And they strike a deal. Pepper wants to expose Vandalay Industries. There's clearly some bad shit going on here. And Chai wants off this island. He wants out of here.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's expose Vandalay with me. I'll help you get out of here. You end up getting some more crew like Macaron and CNMN, also known as Cinnamon.
I like that one. I have to admit. As dumb as it is, I like it.
That one's a robot.
Yeah.
So really the thing going on here is, and I should say, we're not going to go like deep into spoilers. I'm not going to talk about what happens at the end of the story. This is a spoiler, I guess, from a couple hours into the game, but it's basically what the game is about. Project Armstrong is really part of using this AI called Spectrum that lets Vandalay Industries basically mind control whoever participated in Project Armstrong.
Oh, okay, that took a turn.
Yeah. So,
And because of the power of music, Chai can't be controlled.
I'm not gonna get into that territory.
Okay. All right.
That's where we start to get into some stuff later that it's spoiler territory. So
All right,
not
all
gonna
right,
get
all
into that. So there's 6 bosses. There's like heads of Vandalay that each have a key, and you need all of the keys to shut down Spectrum. So that's the game. You're going up through these levels to fight a boss at the end, get their key, shut down the AI.
I think I saw like the main guy in the trailer, like the blonde one.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
that is Mr. Vandalay himself.
Oh, that's not food related though. I'm disappointed.
So Vandalay is the last name. And Kale is his first name, so it is.
Okay, I judged
There you
too
go.
soon. I'm very sorry.
They stick with it.
Okay. Do you spend the whole game on the island, or do you get off at one point?
No, so you're on the island, but the island is very diverse. It's not like it's not open world. You're not like going around the whole island in that way. It is very much so like these are crafted levels, and you go through them with like some branching paths for hidden stuff, but it is a pretty good variety of environments.
Yeah, I mean, for a rhythm game, I don't know if you would need an open world type of stuff. I feel like fixed levels would make that more feasible with the beat thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. So let's talk about gameplay. Everything, like I said, is to the beat of whatever song is playing. Now, when I was talking about how it's easy for like people that struggle with that to play,
me, you're talking about me.
for Lyle,
specifically for me.
you're not penalized for missing. If you attack to the beat, you're still gonna do the attack. You may not get the benefits of doing it to the beat, but you can't you don't get into a battle and you can fail a song by missing to the beat.
So is there like a combo meter or something?
Yes.
Yes,
it is very combo oriented. So you have a light attack and a heavy attack that you use for combos. You do it to the beat. When you do a light attack, you do like 1, 2, 3, 4. When you do a heavy attack, let's be like light attack is 1, so 1, heavy attack on 2. 3 is a pause because you're doing a heavy attack, and then on 4 you can continue the combo.
Okay, makes sense in my head at least.
And the more you do it on beat, the higher combos will be. You will build that combo special meter, which will let you do special moves, and you get at the end of each battle you get graded on how long it took you, how well you stayed to the beat. There was a third thing in there that I can't remember, but you get graded anywhere from I think D to S. It doesn't actually
fail you.
No, if you get like C's across the board, they're not gonna be like try again.
Okay, so you can progress. It's just
yes. If you defeat the enemies, you're good.
All right,
but
that's also good.
Yes, it adds a lot of replayability though, especially for people that like rhythm games, because it is a lot of times about replaying a song or a portion and getting good at it. If you do ever lose the beat, there are some easy things to help you with that. So you have 808 always like floats with you. They're always pulsating to the beat. The environment around you, so there'll be like, let's say like pipes are moving or like trees are kind of bouncing. It's all to the beat, like everything around you.
That's really cool. It's like a metronome, but
Yes.
in
So
like a visual style.
if you really wanted to, also you can just straight up have a metronome at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, cool.
I opted not to, but they definitely emphasize trying to onboard people that are not rhythm game savvy.
Me again.
Yeah. yes. Again, Lyle. But it is literally like, it's impressive how much everything is to the beat. If you stand still, Chai's idle animation is him like tapping his foot and snapping to the beat. Every step he takes, whenever you move around, every single step is to the beat. Every attack you do is to the beat, and every attack an enemy does to you is to the beat.
That sounds so cool.
It is very cool.
Like, imagine if like the whole environment is built to that as well. That would really feel very immersive in the music. And
yes,
then,
you get.
Yeah.
And this is, it's certainly not the first game to do this. So like Metal Hellsinger kind of had somewhere where you're attacking to the beat. The environment is not so much.
Mm-hmm.
There was a game I talked about like months ago on the show, a very small indie game, Soundfall, which was a similar concept that didn't do it nearly as well as Hi-Fi Rush did. The Hi-Fi Rush is kind of like the best implementation of this concept that I've ever seen.
Probably also the most polished, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the like biggest studio, the biggest budget, biggest backing with Bethesda right there.
Yeah.
Than any game that has tried this before, that's for sure.
But I think it's really cool that they even tried doing this, because I can't imagine that it's that much of a user base, I think. For like,
it's so,
although like Guitar Hero is like one of the most sold games ever, isn't it?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, I think part of the issue is that it's, and we'll also get into this later into part of like a little fun fact segment, but they even said that like this type of game is very hard to make. It's not easy.
Yeah, especially if you have the whole environment that needs to flash to or do something to the beat. What do you have the grass blades do? Like stuff like that.
So with enemies also attacking to the beat, there is a parry system where since they're attacking to the beat, you can see they're about to hit you. You parry on the beat, you hit them back. There's also a dodge, same type of concept. You also get a grappling hook at some point, which is used for not only maneuvering the levels, but you can grapple hook towards an enemy. It's like you grapple onto them, you get pulled towards them, and then on the beat, you hit the button again, and you can jump over them, and it kind of stuns them.
That sounds so cool if you can all pull it off.
Oh yeah, like once you kind of like get the feeling of the game and everything starts to really click, that can all... It feels very good once you get it.
It sounds very cool.
You can eventually call in companions to help you. Some of those crew members I mentioned earlier, to like, you call them in for a split second, they teleport in, do something with you in combat or environmentally, which we'll get to that part, the outside of combat. And then they bail. They also, I just want to say, all their idle animations when you call them, so like Peppermint has like a blaster of some sort, like a pistol. You call her in, and you can like hold her. You can't like run around with her. She kind of stays static as long as you stay close and you aim like where you want her to shoot. Even her, like she's like kind of like bouncing to the beat a little bit. Everyone that you call like has some sort of animation to the beat.
Oh, that's so cool.
You might even see it in the gameplay footage I have here. I would sometimes just like call out a companion and just kind of sit there and just watch it.
Watch what they do. Yeah.
It's just like it's impressive and like really cool.
Yeah. That's probably part of why it's so hard to make a game like this.
Yes.
If you can't predict or you have to predict what the players can do, so you have to animate that too.
So you call in companions help. So like Peppermint with her blaster is good against enemies with force fields. It'll break that. You call like Macaron will smash against heavy armor that you can't normally get through. So you're kind of constantly switching between them depending on what enemies are spawning in front of you. And then boss fights are all really good. They all
How
have
do
like
they
their
work?
so they all have their own like gimmick to them, if you will. Usually tied into either a new ability you just learned or a new companion you just got. So like one companion, like let's just say Macaron for example, is good at smashing heavy armor. The next boss is probably gonna have some sort of heavy armor component to it. But even gameplay wise, and I don't really want to get too much into it because they were some of the most impressive like set pieces and just moments in the game. But they all kind of have, they're all very unique. I'll leave it at that without going too much into it because there were a lot of fun surprises with the boss fights.
That sounds cool. If they can make them so different from the normal enemies and have them each have their own thing, that's really that's so much more memorable than a standard mini boss.
Yes, because the rest are like just kind of like you walk into an area, it's a combat environment. You will see the same like enemies, maybe some different variations. Like, oh, you got this companion that's good against this, so now the enemies are also going to have that, and it's just kind of like another layer to get through. But the standard enemies, like, while a lot of them do have some very cool designs, are mostly nothing crazy to them. They're very standard.
Why would they?
That's
they
true.
are standard enemies.
They're just your standard robotic security system.
That you have thousands of for some reason.
Yes. For that one rogue defect that gets away.
Have they never had a defect before, Chai?
No, they haven't. That was actually that boss's very special thing, who she was straight up a wrestler, which I loved. Like, she had her whole entrance with the pyro, and she did the pose, and she had, like, a belt that said boss.
Amazing.
Yeah, she was awesome. But that was her whole thing, is that she never, ever once had a defect.
Oh.
So this was a big deal.
Yeah, I can imagine. You would not like that.
No. So, in between battles, it is basically a 3D platformer. So, you're going through these, it's not, like I said, it's not open at all. You're going through pretty linear levels with some branching paths to explore that you get collectibles that like, oh, this increases your health, this increases your special meter. And you can find gears everywhere, which are basically the game's currency that you can use in your hub area to upgrade either like your damage or just to unlock new combos, new special moves. You can also upgrade your companion's moves, or get chips that give you like passives a lot of times with the companions of like, oh, Peppermint's cooldown time to recall her is 15% less. Stuff like that.
Are there any cosmetics?
There are, but not until not until after you finish a game.
Ah, okay.
They do give you plenty of stuff and incentive to revisit levels, but not during the game at all.
You can be a tofu.
You can be a tofu?
Wasn't that a thing in the Resident Evil games? That you run around? Isn't that a thing? Am I misremembering that so much?
I'm not exactly Resident. Let's see. Resident Evil Tofu. Let's see. The Tofu Survivor is a minigame present in the Resident Evil 2 remake.
No, then it's not what I thought. I thought there was like a costume that you can get for. Then it wasn't Resident Evil.
No, you are. You look like Tofu.
Okay, yeah, good.
With like a hat and a knife.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. No, you can't become Tofu from what I saw.
Shame. Missed opportunity.
Dock points. So in this hub area that you have, you go back there between levels, and you can kind of like sit on a couch, and Chai will express his thoughts, and then you can play with 808, which is great. You can just pet the cat. You unlock pieces of this big mural on the wall by completing challenges, which could be anything from like defeat an enemy using parries this many times, or find this many collectible, and it just unlocks different art pieces on that mural. There's a lot of challenges if you really want things to do. There's a lot.
Do you know what the mural will show? You don't have to tell me what it is, but
from the pieces that I've gathered, because you do it like kind of piece by piece, it essentially seems to be you and your whole crew kicking a robot's ass.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
You can also, throughout the levels, one of the hidden things you can find is just like hidden graffitis that you essentially you collect, and then you can hang up a picture of it in your little hub area. Or you can reread all the security logs that you find, like, you know, typical game logs. But I will say, I really like what they did with the game logs here, because this is not exactly like a crazy in-depth story game. That there is story, and I did enjoy for what it was, but it's nothing crazy. But the way they tie in the logs to the actual like game, so the one that really sticks with me is you find a log of one robot that was like, they're mistreating me. They have me now fixing the coffee machine. Well, let's see how they like it when I make it just decaf coffee. And then after that, throughout the rest of the game, in cutscenes, there would just be so many times where like the boss, Kale Van, would be like, "Is this decaf? I don't want decaf." Like
That's so cool.
Yes, they would hint at those little things in notes all the time, or like they use it to explain game design things. So like you're going through this crazy level and there's arrows everywhere directing you where to go, and you find these little note things throughout the level of a robot that's like, "I'm the arrow guy. I will give everyone directions. No one will get lost here."
That's amazing.
Yes,
that's awesome.
It's very good. It made the logs not just lore dumps that you kind of read through and you're like, all right, this is getting kind of boring, and it made them fun.
That sounds a lot like what the Fallout logs in the vaults used to be, because they kind of like told stories like that, but they didn't
totally
tie it into the game as much, I think.
No,
maybe
but it's easier to do that in a much smaller scale thing like this, for sure.
Fair.
So, like I was saying, the story is nothing profound, but the writing that is there is excellent. Like, actually humorous to the point where it wasn't just like, oh, hey, that was kind of funny. It was like, oh, I'm actually laughing a little bit, like out loud, which is that's very hard. Common.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
It is. It was very much so like the old cartoons that I grew up with type of humor in a very good way. That was kind of like the whole vibe of this game. To the point where like if they made an animated show or even a movie or something based on this, especially with like all the cutscenes and everything are also to the beat. Everything is always to the beat. It would be so amazing. Good. I would eat that up. I really hope that they're considering something like that.
That would be so cool. I mean, from what I saw in the trailer, it looked so good. The animation, the art style.
Oh god. Well, yeah, I'll get to that in a sec. But I did want to mention the character progression that they all have. It's not like on the nose. It's the subtle type of stuff where like it's not like, oh, this big event happened and now this character is completely changed. It was more like, oh, in the beginning, Chai and Peppermint didn't really get along. They were just working together. And then kind of like slowly throughout the game, they both like open up a little bit more with each other throughout but it wasn't that type of character progression that's very subtle but natural. Give me that 10 times out of 10 instead of, like I said, like, oh, big cutscene happened and now this person is just completely different.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like a good character arc. That's a little bit of a slow burn.
Yep. But it makes it, more natural. It's not.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not out of nowhere. Everything felt natural in that regard. So yeah, the art style, the animation, very. I guess comic booky would kind of be a word for it. It's very bright. It's very vibrant, colorful. Even the like what should be just like a dull machine area where it's just like everything is metal. They make everything very lively.
Yeah. Very shiny.
Yes, very shiny is a good word. Yeah. The animations are all very smooth and very... Also kind of like, especially in cutscenes, you just get kind of lost in them.
But as I said, from the trailer, it looked like a movie. It reminded me a lot of Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
yeah, not exactly the same style,
No.
but in like the smoothness of the animation, and I don't know, it just had like something that immediately shot me in like, yeah, that's what you thought was so cool about Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it is that not exactly the same style like you're saying, but the same vibe.
Yeah,
The type of animation where you
exactly.
look at it and you're just like, that's really fucking cool.
Yes,
I don't know
exactly.
exactly what they're doing, but it's cool. Very smooth. Um, all of the songs were good. There wasn't like ever a song where I was like, oh, I don't want to play through this now. I did like the details of like each level is called a track, so it's like track 1, track 2, and they do the old like music video thing where like you start a level so the track starts and in the bottom corner it'll be like the artist, that's the name of the song, like that fun stuff. A lot of nods to those types of things. So lots of licensed music. So like songs that already existed from I don't know like half of these, but I'm not exactly in the world of pop culture, but I do know a few of these. So they have music from Wolfgang Gartner, 9 Inch Nails, The Black Keys, Prodigy, The Joy Formidable, and The Number Girl.
I know one of those.
9 Inch Nails?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know 9 Inch Nails and The Black Keys. And 9 Inch Nails, I want to say they have like 2 or 3 songs from them in there.
That's nice.
Yeah,
We're
so they
getting
have that.
old, Dylan. We're getting old. We don't know
We're
this stuff anymore.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to think about it.
Sorry.
It's part of working with people in their 20s. Like, oh yeah, you know this? And I'm like, no, I don't know who that is.
I every year when Spotify does its this is your year wrap up, I'm like, I've been listening to the same albums for the
Yep.
past 5 years, and there's
Yep,
no new stuff on there.
At some point you just kind of hit that wall and it's just this music I've been listening to for the last 15 years, that's it. This is the rest of my life. So they also have just original songs that they made, and then if you are streaming this game, they do have a streamer mode that takes away those licensed songs and just replaces it all with originals that they made, which makes sense because streaming and music is...
Yeah, that's always a problem.
Yeah, it's always a problem.
I wish they could come to an agreement on that.
That would be nice. You would think that would have happened by now, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
So, just to kind of close us out, not getting into spoilers, the whole ending sequence, though, is awesome. The whole... I can't say more than that because it's definitely something to experience, but from the story beats to the actual level and what's happening, it feels great.
A vibe.
Yes, there is a vibe that feels good. The game doesn't necessarily do anything new. Everything that is in this game has definitely been done before, but this is the game that has done this combination, kind of like what I said earlier, the best that I've seen. Having a game where everything actually moves to the rhythm, combat moves to the rhythm, it all works in the most polished way, and like we said, they do kind of have the biggest backing compared to other games that have tried this before.
That's not a bad thing, though.
No,
taking inspiration from other sources and really
yeah,
putting your whole craft into this, I think that's amazing.
And this game gave me a feeling I haven't had in a long time, which was
Joy.
It was yes, it was like honestly like it was an old video. It reminded me of an old video game in the sense of this was just straight up fun.
Yeah.
And like a lot of games, and I love a lot of modern games, but they can be very dark or depressing or like bigger, deeper. This was just straight up like, we're jumping into this. It's going to be just pure fun. From the gameplay to the writing, everything about it is fun, and that was so refreshing.
Yeah, we need that sometimes.
Yes, just good fun.
As good as games like The Last of Us are.
Yeah.
They are heavy.
When I started The Last of Us 2, it was right around the time that COVID was happening and we were like shutting down, and we would play it. My girlfriend would watch me, and it got to the point where we're like, we can't do this right now.
Yeah, I can
The
imagine.
world is in a dark place, and this is a dark game. We can't do it. And it wasn't like months and months later we went back and played it then.
Yeah, when I played Plague Tale Requiem last year, it really put me in like a very sad state for like 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
and I didn't think it would, but it did.
No, games can fuck you up like that.
Yeah. So if you have something that's just joyful and happy,
Yeah.
yeah.
I came away from this just, that was an awesome experience. I had a lot of fun with that. I was in a good mood the rest of the day.
Amazing.
So my final score is going to be a very high, a 9.5 out of 10.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
And the way, like, everyone kind of has their own personal scales and how they scale things. When I think of a 10 out of 10 game, there's no such thing as a perfect game. Those don't exist. But 10 out of 10, I think of a game that does something completely new that would kind of advance the gaming sphere as a whole. Something that games will then look at and try to mimic and replicate for years and years. This was not that, but this did everything it did to perfection.
Yeah. Amazing.
Before we close this out, though, there was a lot of fun facts and kind of stuff surrounding this game that I want to talk about. I think it's going to be a fun way to kind of close things off. So, Hi Friday Rush was shadow dropped. It just came out of no. They announced it at that Xbox conference. We're like, out later today on Game Pass. Have fun.
That's such a risky move, though.
So
especially if you put it on Game Pass too.
Yeah, that was actually kind of the reason they did it, because they apparently it went kind of viral within Bethesda, to where like people working at the various studios would be like, have you seen that game that they're working on over there? Like, have you checked that out? And it was actually the head of the game credited marketing for this, where they were basically like, this is a risk for the studio that is known for just horror. If you try to like announce this and then give it like a year or two cycle, it might get kind of weird. Just, we think with how it's going viral within the studio, just drop it. Just,
yeah, cool decision.
Yeah, and it clearly worked, because it's working out well for them.
Yeah, it is.
So kind of tying into that, we did run polls across Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Decent amount of votes, and it was actually completely unanimous. 100% of the people that voted prefer shadow drops like this over long marketing cycles that can build hype to a game, which kind of surprised me, because, as you know, people get very excited over the span of like a couple of years for a game.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know where I land on this, because I do understand what they are saying, but I'm not sure I agree with the shadow drop thing, because I don't know how well that works for a company that doesn't have the capacity to then really go into the marketing when it has dropped.
That is true.
So I also do not like the thing that Cyberpunk did, for example, over-promising shit and then come out with a game that cannot live up to the hype.
Right, it was like 4 years of like, this was gonna be like, here's this trailer, then the game comes out and it's nothing. The stuff you could do in that trailer is not even in the game. Like,
exactly. I kind of like what Bethesda did with Fallout 4, when they were like, okay, it's out in like, I think 4 months?
Yeah, it was a few months, something like that. It was announced at E3 and it came out in fall, so.
I like that, when you are in the last stretch of developing the game and you're really like, we can finish this.
Yeah.
In 5 months. And then you say, okay, it's coming out in 5 months. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good middle ground.
Yeah. I'm the center.
There you go. Perfect compromise. We did it. We solved gaming.
We solved marketing issues with games. Hire us, someone.
Pay us for this information. So, part of the reason I don't think we're going to be seeing a movie or show anytime soon, or why we don't see games more like this, is apparently cutscenes took 3 times as long as a normal cutscene would take to make, because of how everything was to the beat. That added
That's
a
a lot
lot.
of money.
Yeah, 3 times as long. So they actually apparently started this game. It like first came to fruition right after the release of The Evil Within 2, which was I think 2017. They apparently knew like Ghostwire Tokyo was gonna be the next game, but that is when the idea for this game started and was pitched, and they were like, let's make a prototype and see how it goes, and it just went from there.
I wanted to ask, how long is this?
Not very. If you're just like going through the story, and I was like exploring all the paths I could to try and find all the collectibles, which some of them you can't get till post game, but
Okay.
I was exploring. It took me maybe 7 to 8ish hours. It's not very long.
Okay.
But it felt like the perfect length for this game because I'm also starting to really appreciate these games that are like 10ish hours over the 60, 70 hour games that take forever.
It's an age thing.
I know it is. I know that.
Time gets more precious.
Yes, it does. You somehow, as life goes on, get less and less and less free time.
Yes.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in this game. So, without getting into what they are, they did reference JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Twin Peaks, and Xenogears.
Twin Peaks kind of feels like a little out of left field in this list.
So it was very subtle. That one was... So I've never actually watched Twin Peaks.
Me neither.
But there's at some point a dude in like a red suit on a stage doing like a little dance thing. And during a little scene, 808 is just kind of like doing that little dance like that. And it's very subtle. Like someone pointed out on Twitter. I wish I had the link here so I could credit them, but it was not like in your face at all.
Okay. I would not have seen that.
No, I would have never ever guessed that. They also referenced The Evil Within plenty of times throughout this game. You come across this robot HR dude who's just examining like little scenes throughout each level. That's basically the main character from The Evil Within. It's him as a robot.
Does that mean they are in the same universe?
I don't think so. But
Same.
they did hint. You're on an elevator at one point, and on the elevator is like a screen with a little news update, and the line says, "Sequel to popular survival horror game franchise announced." So now everyone's like, "Oh, Evil Within 3 is coming soon."
I mean, it has to. They're definitely working on that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So there were also plenty of other little. So I'm not too well versed in the Evil Within, but my girlfriend has played plenty, so there'll be plenty of times where I would see like a weird little mirror and like a little snail thing with a gun, and it'd be like, but it's just like a little hidden corner with this happening. And I would call her and be like, "Is this Evil Within?" She'll look at me like, "Oh yeah, that's the mirror. That's what this is. It's the Evil Within reference." So I was like, "Okay."
A snail with a gun.
Yeah, the snail part I was unsure about, but the mirror clearly was. So that it was like tiny too. It wasn't not like this big thing. It was just like in a corner.
Amazing.
Also, Hi-Fi Rush is being very well received. It is the highest reviewed Bethesda game on Metacritic since Skyrim came out in 2011. So
and it's
Skyrim,
not even a Bethesda game.
Right, yeah, it was just published by Bethesda. They didn't make it. So Skyrim came at a 95 on Metacritic, I think, and this is sitting at an 89. Which
can you imagine if Skyrim came out today, it would not get a 95?
No, if it came out as it was today, no, it would not. A lot of things in that game don't age the best. At the time, don't get me wrong, I was addicted to that game.
Oh, me too.
But I have tried multiple times since then going back to Skyrim. And I like get through the intro, the whole little, and then I'm just like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah,
like,
it also just feels kind of samey, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like once you've played, I don't know, 200 hours, even though you have different quests, it all still kind of feels like the same thing.
Yeah, it totally does.
Yeah. But 89 as a score, holy hell.
Yeah, that is
Really
very good, especially for a weird game from a horror developer that was like, weird, colorful, vibrant rhythm game, and it's out now.
Go play it.
Yes, I highly recommend it. It is getting well received for good reason.
Yes. And as
Uh,
a rhythm game aficionado, it gets your seal of approval.
Oh, it gets my seal of approval big time. It's
What
like I
is
said,
the best? Is it the best rhythm game, or is there a different one?
so all right. I think that you have to consider the different kind of like it's like a flow chart, right?
Okay.
You have rhythm games, and then this is a type of rhythm game, which is kind of like an action rhythm game, where things are to the beat. Which, like I said, there's like Metal Hellsinger, there's Soundfall, there's probably a whole bunch of others that I don't know about. As far as I'm concerned, from the ones I've played, yes, this is the best of that.
Oh.
I think it
That's
would be a
high
weird
praise.
comparison to be like, oh, how does Hi-Fi Rush compare to Rock Band? Because they
Yeah.
are at that point like very different.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
All right, we're keeping news is gone. We're not doing news anymore.
We're ditching that.
Yeah, we're leaving that in the past, but we're still gonna do notable game releases because we all have things to look forward to coming up. Why don't you take the
Definitely.
first one?
Yes! Blanc! Blank? Blanc. I think it's Blanc.
I think
Blanc.
I don't think it's blank. Yeah.
No, me neither. It's coming out on February 14th. Valentine's Day. On
Ooh.
what is NS?
Nintendo
Switch. On Nintendo Switch and PC.
That is a perfect Valentine's Day game.
Gift.
Being
Yeah, because
co-op
you
like that.
have to play it co-op. And
Oh, you
maybe
have to play it co-op.
You have to play it co-op.
Ah, I did not realize that part.
You
I
cannot
thought it was
play
like you
this.
can.
No, you have to.
Oh,
And
I'm sure that release date was very intentional then.
Yeah, and I would imagine so. And maybe you cry a little together. That's our
That
prediction.
part is definitely gonna happen. So yeah, your episode in a couple of weeks is
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be on that. We're gonna do
I
a deep
will.
dive.
I will play that with a friend, and then you will get all my thoughts on it. So I hope it's good.
Hopefully, or else that's gonna be an episode of just bashing.
Bashing. Can you imagine? I hated this game. That would be so
Just
sad.
that on repeat for like half an hour.
It's
All right,
trash.
we got one more game. It is it's the year of rhythm games, and I'm not gonna complain. We got Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line coming out on February 16th on PS4 and Nintendo Switch. This is that Final Fantasy rhythm game, to where it's all Final Fantasy tracks from across the games.
Is that like Guitar Hero then?
It is a little more in line with that. Yeah, it's pushing buttons to the prompts.
Why does it have such a weird name?
Because Square Enix.
Fair.
This is the same company that comes out with Kingdom Hearts 2.58 Definitive Edition. What was it was Final Prologue something or something.
I have no idea.
Kingdom Hearts is fucked up.
I know my roommate played a lot of those, and they
Yeah,
are always saying how insane they are.
Yeah, I enjoy them. Don't get me wrong, but they're fucked up. And they make no sense.
Yes, exactly.
Every Kingdom Hearts.
Isn't there like a video on YouTube that's like the whole Kingdom Hearts story explained, and it's like 8 hours long or something?
Yes, every Kingdom Hearts game that comes out that I'm getting ready to play, I have to all right, I have to do a lot of research now. And then even with all the research, it's like, I kind of think I see what's going on here.
But I have no idea who these characters are. I have no idea where they came from.
I know Sora, Riku, and Kairi, and then you got Mickey Mouse, Donald, and Goofy.
And that's it.
All the other characters they throw in there make no sense to me.
And there are a lot of them.
Oh, there's so many. I recognize Axel as the dude with red hair.
Oh yeah, they all have like X names?
Yes, the Organization 13.
Yeah.
And they all wear like black robes.
13 and they all have X names. Makes total sense.
Yeah. Yep. Of course.
Oh.
All right, that's gonna do it.
Are we ending the episode on like a real end?
Well, Dave's not here. he's possessed, and he's normally the one that just kind of rants at the end. He rambles
That's
on,
true.
says something random, and we close it off. This has been a very organized episode. No chaos.
It's so weird.
It- very
Also,
calm.
also again, please email us if you see him on the street.
Yes, if you see Dave anywhere, he's possessed. Don't approach him and contact us immediately. And hopefully next week we'll have him back. And thank you for listening. Hope you like this new thing we got going on. Lila's great. We all know that you enjoy her. That is that is not to be argued. But the new format, if you don't like that, you can let us know that too, and we'll take that into consideration.
Yes, but thank you for having me. Be part of your team.
Oh yeah, no, this is it.
Enjoy
It's a perfect fit.
It is. So
All right, well, thank you
you,
everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.